Hello, Julie here and welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me here today, and I hope you enjoy watching this card that I'm going to make. It's a Mother's Day card for my mother, and I've decided to use this type of card because I wanted to include a family photo in it for her. To make the card base, you're going to need a sheet of 12 by 12 white cardstock. You cut your cardstock 9.5 inches long and then cut that into 3 pieces that are 4 inches wide. So you end up with 3 pieces that are 4 inches by 9.5. Now we're going to score each of the pieces. Each piece is scored at a different measurement. So on one piece we're going to score at 1 3/4 inches from each end on the long edge. The second piece we're going to score at 2 inches from each end. And the third piece will be 2 1/4 inches from each end. Once we've got those scored, we can use our bone folder and fold those over so that they've got a nice firm crease. These will then sit inside of each other so that the smallest one is on the top, the largest one is on the bottom. So the 6 inch by 4 inch middle section is your actual bottom of your card, and then they work their way up. I'm going to use this Kaisercraft Secret Garden paper pack and ephemera pack to decorate my card. I'm going to select some papers out of my pad and I'm going to cut them to fit my card. To start with, I'm going to cut 4 pieces at 1 5/8 inches by 3 7/8 inches, and two pieces that are 3/4 inch by 3 7/8 inches. They will go on the very back layer of the card. Then I'm going to use another 4 pieces of a different paper that are 1 7/8 inches by 3 7/8 inches. And 2 pieces that are 3/4 inch by 3 7/8 of an inch. And then for the actual layer that you will see when the card is fully opened, I'm going to use one piece that is 4 7/8 inches by 3 7/8 inches, and 4 pieces that are 2 1/8 by 3 7/8. I will write these measurements down and leave them in the description if you are interested in having a look at those again. Now that all of my pattern paper is cut to size, I'm going to use this Versamark black ink pad and ink the edges of all of those papers. Now I'm using double-sided tape to attach the pattern papers to the card layers. I have used like corresponding paper on every layer, but you can use an assortment of papers. It doesn't really matter. It just depends on what papers you're using and what papers you think go together. I'm going to attach each layer now, and it's going to make 2 pockets at the back that I'm going to put some tags in. I'm going to use this 1/4 inch tape, and I'm using the tape to put around the 2 sides and the bottom of the 2 top layers, so on the back of them, so they will attach to each other and also create the pocket at the same time. Once I've burnished that tape down nicely, I then peel the backing off and attach each of the layers on top of each other. I start attaching the middle layer to the back layer and then the inside layer on top of that. Once I've got my layers all in place, I burnish them very well so that they stay put, and because they're what's going to hold the tags that I'm going to make soon. I now go ahead and finish attaching all of my pattern papers. Time now to create my tags to go in the back of my card. I'm going to use some white cardstock. It's 3.5 inches wide. I'm going to cut one tag 6 inches long and the other tag 5 inches long. I'm going to measure down from the top and in from the side 3/4 of an inch on each one and cut the corners off. Now that I have my tag bases, I'm going to select a couple of pattern papers from my pad, and I'm going to cut each one 3 3/8 by 5 7/8, one of each, and 3 3/8 by 4 7/8, one of each. I'm going to do the same on the corners for those as I did for my actual tags, and then I'm going to ink around the edge of them and use double-sided tape to attach them to my tag base. I'm only showing the one side here. I do actually do that with 2 pattern papers, a pink one and this green one. Using my crocodile, I add a silver eyelet to each of my tags. I want to be able to keep my card closed, so I'm going to use this ribbon as a closure. I cut a piece to the length that I require, enough to go right around the card and tie a bow, and then I use double-sided tape and glue to attach that to the back of the card. I attach it in the centre of the back. I go back to my pattern paper and choose a pattern, and then cut it so that it's 5 7/8 inches by 3 7/8 inches, so that it can completely cover the back of the card and keep this ribbon in place and protected. Now I'm going to add my photo to the card. This is a family photo that was taken at Mum's 85th birthday. I have trimmed it, well, I've printed it a lot smaller so that it will fit into that back panel. I'm going to mat it on a bit of white cardstock just so that there's white above and below the photo. I'm only making the mat like 1/8 of an inch taller than the photo, so it's only a very fine mat, and then I'm going to attach that to the inside of the card. It's time now to embellish the card. I go through the ephemera pack and pick out some pieces that I think I might be able to use. I also use a few dies out of my stash. I use a Kaisercraft Polaroid frame die. I use a Spellbinders Labels 8 die. I use a stitched tag die and a butterfly die. I cut several of these. I don't end up using all of them, but I do use some of them, and you will see as I go through this where I've actually used what. A lot of the embellishments are out of the collectibles pack, but I'm just going to put this on fast forward with a bit of music and you can see how it comes together. I decide that the frog behind the photo, or in the photo, is too distracting from the people, so I select this little tag out of the ephemera pack and I stick that over the top of the frog so that can concentrate on the photo better instead of just seeing those frog's glasses. I also added some of the same ribbon to the tags so that they tie in nicely with the rest of the card. I recently purchased a We Are Memory Keepers envelope punch board, and so I'm going to make a envelope especially to fit this card in so I can post it to my mother, because she doesn't live in the same town as I, and I won't be going up to visit her for Mother's Day. So those white panels there next to the photos where I'll write my greeting, and these are the different layers. I've only decorated the tops of the folded sections. I figured that the pattern paper was enough decoration for the undersides of the card. And now with all the decoration done and the tags completed with their ribbon and everything tied up, that's the end of this card. I hope you've enjoyed watching my video today, and if you have and you're not already a subscriber, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. If you would like to share my video with your friends, that would be fantastic. Thank you for sharing your time here with me today, and I hope to see you again soon.